Hello, and welcome to Kings Point Spotlight. I'm Lieutenant Tyrone Broxton, and today I have the pleasure of being joined in the Dean and Barbara White Admission Center with Mae Marie Hayes. Mae Marie is a 2009 graduate of the United States Merchant Marine Academy, where she majored in marine engineering systems. Mae, thanks for joining us here today on Kings Point Spotlight.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, first and foremost, give a shout out to your high school. Where are you from? And say hello to all the people back at home.
All right, shouting out to Pearland High School. Woo! I'm from Pearland, Texas, and that's what's up.
Now, what brought you to Kings Point originally? You were a basketball player. Were you a basketball recruit, or did you learn about Kings Point through some other means?
Well, it's kind of weird. I was a basketball recruit, but I heard about the academy when I took my PSATs.
Okay.
And when you get a certain grade, they send you a letter. I was really interested after that letter, and then I got a call from a basketball coach. So we came up here, me and my mother, and that's how that happened.
Okay. Were you looking at any other service academies?
This was the only one.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
This is the one right here.
Okay. And who did you earn your nomination from?
Congressman Tom DeLay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. You're very familiar with him.
Very familiar. Everyone's familiar with him.
Now, why did you decide to come to Kings Point? You know, you took your PSATs. Obviously, you had the wherewithal to be here. You went through the application process, earned the nomination, were recruited for basketball in addition to. Why did this school, this institution, this academy, seem to be the best for you?
Well, first off, I always wanted to do engineering. I just wasn't sure exactly what type. I wasn't even sure about marine engineering, but once I came here, saw the campus, and saw the curriculum, the classes that were taken, the prestige of the academy, and it's free, I get to play basketball, there's a lot of connections here, and when I say that, you meet a lot of people, you go out, different meetings, different societies, and I thought this was the place to be, because it's not always about how big the school is, it's about how good the school is academically.
Now, the 5 majors offered, you chose the most difficult.
Oh.
Marine engineering systems.
Sure did.
And obviously being an engineer, you know, you wanted to shoot for the stars. Systems is the way to go. Obviously you had to meet that cutoff initially, being a freshman of the 2.565 GPA at the conclusion of the freshman first trimester. Why did you choose that major, and how has it, I guess, benefited you now that you are a professional?
I've benefited a lot from this major. This is the type of major where you can't BS your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to study and you have to work together in a group. Being in a group of other engineers and working amongst each other is the biggest thing that really I learned from, because even in society, once you graduate and you get into wherever you're doing, you can't do everything alone. You have to have company. Mm-hmm. So that teaches that you can't get through here or through the classes without.
Now, for some of the individuals that may not be familiar with engineering systems, what exactly is that? What are some of the things that you learned over the course of your 4 years in that field?
Okay, marine engineering systems. Basically, on a ship, you know, you're either deck or engine. And there's different categories within the engine. You can be straight engine, where you just, you know, go out to sea, and you're looking to go out to sea once you graduate. You can do engineering management, where you want to work in a shipyard. Or 3, you can do marine engineering systems, and that is, you can go out to sea, or you can work in different places, engineering related. There's different systems. There's minors here, aeronautical engineering, there's nuclear, there's electrical, there's different fields of systems. I chose electrical, so you do a lot of concentrations and emphasis on that type. For instance, I did electrical, so we did a lot of dealings with different types of things. We went into electric circuits, instrumentation, electronics, and we had a lot of math. That includes a lot of math. And so once you do graduate, you still get the same marine engineering systems as everybody else, but you concentrate on specific things. Like when I went out to sea, I had a lot of knowledge in electronics, instrumentation. I could test out of a lot of tests that someone else wouldn't have been able to do. And for systems especially, you're ABET accredited, meaning you can go ahead and get your master's after you take, for instance, the FE, Fundamentals of Engineering exam. You have a chance to take that. Others don't have that opportunity.
Now, from a basketball standpoint, let's go back to the hardwood. You had a very good career, but there was one thing about you that kind of made your career very interesting, and that was that you decided and it was obviously the right choice. But you decided, you made the gutsy call to say, you know what, I am not going to play my junior year. What was the reason behind that?
Well, as you know, it can be very tedious and very difficult within the academy, regimentally, academically, and just everything. So I, instead of having to risk the thought of being kicked out of the academy or serious academic deficiencies, I decided to just go ahead, and it was hard because of the fact that people depend on you. But the thing about it is that people depend on you, but trust me, they'll understand. They'd rather you be here at the academy than be kicked out, too bad, so sad, and play that year but then get kicked out. So you have to look out for yourself, and when I say look out for yourself, your well-being, you can't do anything for anybody if you're not here.
Yes.
So, and it's not that necessarily that the work was too difficult, it's that there's so many things going on and it's very busy. You understand that yourself, you're busy yourself, but it's all about having time management. And if you're not that good at being time management, people who are good at time management still are struggling. So that's the biggest thing, time management and trying to get everything done, especially with systems. That's the hardest one. And you have to be on that 24/7. And you give all your effort in your sports like basketball. When you're done, like when I was done, by the end of the day I was exhausted and I'd just fall asleep and I'd wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning and try and finish my homework. So that's me, other people, they've said the same thing. So you just gotta, you have to make that decision, and you'd rather be here and graduate than be kicked out and have to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And you made it through the junior year, and then obviously you came back and helped the team make it back to the playoffs as well your following year. So you were able to, rejoin the team your senior year, which I'm sure you were, and the girls were very appreciative of.
Oh, definitely. And there is team leadership, and it may be hard, but everyone understands. They're just like you, and they understand how hard it is to get through their courses, and they will understand. That's the biggest thing. I came back. I thought I wasn't going to be, athletically inclined because I took a year off, or I thought, he wouldn't accept me back, or I'd be, wouldn't know how to get back into it. But I got right back into it, and my senior year I got MVP. So I mean, you just gotta work at it and just take one thing at a time.
Going out to sea, what was that like for you? Most of the crews are male dominant. Very similar to the academy, obviously. So was that much of a transition for you? How did you deal with that during your 1-year experience out to sea?
I take it into two different ways. One, it's about where you were brought up, where you were from, what school did you go to. If you went to an all-women's school, you're gonna have some issues. Mm-hmm. If you went to a school where there's a lot of guys and you were interacting with guys a lot, then it won't be as much of a problem. Here at the academy, when your first year as a freshman, you're around a lot of guys, you can kind of judge that from how your experience out to sea is going to be. If you're, isolated, not talking, not interacting with people, it's going to be the same way out to sea. If you get in there and, talk to people and just get out of your comfort zone, you're going to do the same thing when you go out to sea. So start here while you're a freshman and you'll carry on over. On another end, you also take into consideration when you're on a ship that they're older guys, and it doesn't matter how you look, they're going to flirt with you. So you got to take that into consideration too. You have to make sure that you have a strong presence, and especially as a woman, have a strong presence. You don't have to be like, scare them or anything, but you have to make sure that you seem competent and you are very capable, and ask a lot of questions, but if you don't understand something, if you don't hear them, just tell them you don't understand. It's far worse if you don't. That's the number one thing. Always ask questions. If you have no clue, tell them. And that's all you need to do at all. Work hard. And that's pretty much it, That's it.
Okay. Socially, talk a little bit about that. In particular, I know you were personally mentored by 1983 graduate, if I'm not mistaken, and Erin Gant. She was very instrumental during your matriculation through here. Just talk a little bit about the relationship with the alumni and the midshipmen, and some mentorships that are cultivated while you're here.
Okay. Yes, Miss Erin Gant. She's an awesome lady. Her and Mrs. Aileen Roberson, they're like best friends, and they're just the same. They're awesome. I did an internship end of my sophomore year at MARAD, and both of them helped to get me to that point there, and connections and everything. Alumni in general, they're here to help you. They're so friendly. Don't be scared of them because they will welcome you into their home and to get you connections. If they can't welcome you into their home, they'll get somebody else who went to Kings Point who will. They're willing to help with jobs, with internships, just with advice, and that's that. They both reside in Washington, D.C., and that's where a lot of maritime stuff is going on. So you talk to one person, she'll send you a whole bunch of other contacts of here, there. I mean, whatever all you have to do is ask. And sometimes you don't have to ask. They'll come to you, hunt you down. So, they're great. And it's very important. The alumni is very important because of the fact that they know what you've been through. And so they'll have mercy upon your soul.
Yes. Now, from a regimental standpoint, you were involved in quite a bit. Talk a little bit about the regimental experiences, the leadership experiences, and how you grew, not only as a student and athlete, but also as a leader within a regiment. What were you involved with?
Wow. Okay. I was involved in a lot. Freshman year, they have plebe honor representatives. They have honor plebe. I just tried to get into as much as I could so I can learn, because it's all about learning. It's not about, oh, I've arrived. Mm-hmm. So I did plebe honor representative, and it basically, those types of things teach you just to be confident in yourself and be able to voice that out so people can follow your lead. Sophomore year, I was a team lead. They have team lead. They have petty officers. Once you reach a junior status, you can be a petty officer, and then once you're an officer, a senior, you could be an officer. You take on responsibilities, different things like that. People see you. They start to notice you, and they're like, oh, who is this person? Who is that person? And you get to the eyes of different people, and that's very important because it's the same way when you graduate and you do jobs and you're trusted with responsibilities. People start seeing you and seeing what you can do. So in the beginning, I just learned what I need to do, and then it's practicing, getting better and better until you reach a point where you can escalate and become higher and get to a higher position, and then you'll be having people under you. It's all about responsibilities and delegating that authority and responsibility.
Now, currently you're a third engineer. You soon will be a second engineer by the end of this year. What are some of your responsibilities as a third engineer aboard these various vessels that you're sailing on? And have you gone to any new locations in your sailing professionally?
As a third assistant engineer, basically you're at the bottom of the officer side of, for me, the engine room. Mm-hmm. Chief engineer, first, second, third. So basically, you do everything, pretty much everything in the engine room that everybody in there wants you to do. You help out with the chief engineer, you help out with the first, you help out with the third. You have your daily duties, you have your maintenance, and you have emergency things. For instance, we handle lube oil. Engineers handle all the lube oil, like the lube oil testing, adding lube oil to all the moving machinery, generators, main engine, everything, checking the oil pumps, compressors, all of that. We also handle, water testing, jacket water testing, all that type of stuff. We handle the generators themselves. We do maintenance on all the generators. We keep the generators running. Pretty much the third assistant engineer just handles everything with the generators. And that's very important because you want to have lights on. Mm-hmm. So that's a very important job, because if you mess up that, the ship goes dark. Yes. So so you handle all the lights on the ship, period, like light bulbs and electrical problems. You can be a welder. You do welding. If you're good at welding, they got you. If you suck at welding, they'll give it to somebody else. So you do welding. In emergency things, like if we need to take out a pump, something happens with the main engine, piston pulls, you assist the second, first, and chief on piston pulls. When you're in port, you handle the saltwater system, changing strainers. It's just so many different things you do. Sometimes you handle fuel oil, the purifiers. You take out the purifiers, clean up the purifiers, take the bowl out, do everything. You handle and operate everything. You start the generators, when we're maneuvering in and out, you do everything. They tell you to do, they just sit there, sip their coffee, say do this, do that, do this, do that, and you do everything. But you learn. That's one thing about it, you learn. And One last thing I almost forgot to say, you are responsible for the MSD, which is the Marine Sanitation Device. You'll have fun with that. You'll have fun with that. And if you're a girl, they'll watch you the first time to see if you'll be like, ooh, you know, so make sure and don't do that. You'll surprise them.
Yes, very good, very good. Last but not least, what are the benefits of all your experience? Now you're, a professional mariner. What were the benefits of attending this institution, going through all of the pain and suffering during your time here, and to be 2 years out and doing quite well, and to be experiencing your boyfriend to be graduating here in a few, along with some of your former classmates? Was it worth it?
Oh yeah, it was definitely worth it. I mean, I may have changed a few things that I would have done here at the academy, but it is so worth it, because even the bad experiences that you experience here, which they're going to happen, everyone has their bad experience here, because it just seems like here that there's always something that's holding you back or something that's going to get you in trouble. You take that and turn it around and do better. You know, one of my first ships, it was really difficult. I had a real hard time. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. I have never been on a ship after that one that was worse or off. So that means that every time I've been on a ship, I've been on so many ships now, I've never had a worse experience, meaning everything I've improved on, I've gotten better, and I've loved it. It keeps getting better and better and better. So I say all that to say is that you take the good and the bad, and you just learn, you pay attention, and you work hard. And this is a great place because there's options, and it gives you room to improve. Some places you don't have room. They're like, oh, you can't do, you're out. You know, you can't do it here. So that's the biggest thing, I think. And friends, and you get here, you keep in touch with. I keep in touch with all my friends. It's great, and you just share, and you can go up to their state and meet up with them, stay with them. You know, sail out of there, and you learn from other people. So it was good having people confidants that you could relate to and help each other out.
Ma'am Marie, always a pleasure. So glad you could stop by and join us today on Kings Point Spotlight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here, and good luck.
And that concludes this edition of Kings Point Spotlight. For all of us in admissions, I'm Lieutenant Tyrone Broxton. Until next time, acta non verba, and go Mariners.